Retiring too soon? You might regret it forever. The dream is deeply ingrained in the modern psyche, escaping the daily grind, shedding the constraints of a demanding career, and stepping into a golden era of freedom, travel, hobbies, and relaxation. Early retirement, often painted as the ultimate achievement, the grand prize for years of hard work, beckons with an almost irresistible allure. Images of sunny beaches, leisurely golf games, quality time with grandkids, and pursuing long-neglected passions fuel this desire. For many, the countdown to clocking out for the last time is a source of constant motivation. But what if the dream sours? What if the promised land of perpetual leisure turns out to be less golden and more fraught with unforeseen challenges? The stark reality is that retiring too soon, without adequate preparation across multiple dimensions of life, can lead not to bliss, but to profound and often irreversible regret. It's a decision with far-reaching consequences that can impact finances, health, relationships, and overall well-being for decades to come. The siren song of early retirement is powerful, amplified by movements like FIRE, financial independence, retire early, and a cultural narrative that often equates professional life with stress and unhappiness. Yet, pulling the trigger on retirement prematurely, driven perhaps by a temporary burnout, a market upswing that inflates portfolio values, or simply an idealized vision of post-work life, can be a catastrophic mistake. This article delves into the multifaceted reasons why retiring too soon can become a source of lasting regret. We will explore the financial tightropes, the unexpected health hurdles, the potential identity crises, the social vacuums, and the often underestimated difficulty of reversing the decision. This isn't intended to dissuade anyone from pursuing a well-earned retirement, but rather to serve as a crucial cautionary guide, urging deep reflection and meticulous planning before taking a leap that could land you somewhere you never intended to be. Understanding the potential pitfalls is the first step towards ensuring your retirement, whenever it begins, is a sustainable and genuinely fulfilling chapter, not a cautionary tale whispered with regret. Hi, the siren song of early retirement. Why the rush? Before dissecting the potential regrets, it's essential to understand why early retirement holds such powerful appeal. Recognizing the drivers helps contextualize the decision-making process and the potential for miscalculation. Escape from workplace stress and dissatisfaction. For many, the modern workplace is a pressure cooker. Long hours, demanding bosses, office politics, constant connectivity, and the fear of obsolescence can take a significant toll on mental and physical health. Retirement represents an escape hatch, a release from the daily grind and the perceived negativity associated with their careers. The desire isn't necessarily for retirement itself, but away from the perceived burdens of work. The pursuit of freedom and autonomy. Work dictates schedules, locations, and often, even social interactions. Retirement promises the ultimate freedom, control over one's time. The ability to wake up without an alarm, pursue hobbies without constraint, travel spontaneously, and spend time with loved ones on one's own terms is a powerful motivator. It's the allure of reclaiming ownership of one's life. Cultural glorification and peer influence. Society often portrays retirement, particularly early retirement, as a status symbol, proof of financial success and smart planning. Seeing peers or online influencers seemingly living idyllic early retirement lives can create a sense of urgency, or even envy, pushing individuals to accelerate their own plans, sometimes prematurely. The FIRE movement, while promoting financial discipline, has also contributed to this narrative, occasionally downplaying the non-financial aspects and potential risks. Health concerns and a desire to enjoy good years. Some individuals choose early retirement due to existing health issues or a fear that delaying retirement means missing out on enjoying their healthier, more active years. They want to travel, hike, or engage in physical hobbies while they still can, fearing that waiting longer might mean physical limitations curtail those dreams. Focus on passions and purpose. Many people have passions, art, music, volunteering, writing, learning a new skill, that take a backseat during their working years. Early retirement seems like the perfect opportunity to finally dedicate significant time and energy to these pursuits, seeking a different kind of fulfillment than their career provided. Windfalls and market optimism, receiving an inheritance, selling a business, or experiencing a significant bull run in the stock market can create a feeling of sudden wealth and financial security. This can sometimes lead to an impulsive decision to retire early, based on a snapshot in time rather than a long-term, stress-tested financial plan. While these motivations are understandable and often valid, the danger lies in letting them overshadow a realistic assessment of the long-term implications. The emotional pull of escaping a negative situation or chasing an idealized dream can cloud judgment, leading individuals to underestimate the resources, financial, social, and psychological, required for a truly successful and sustainable retirement that might last 30, 40, or even 50 years. 2. The financial precipice, running out of runway. This is arguably the most common and tangible source of regret for early retirees. The financial calculations for retirement are complex, involving numerous variables and projections far into the future. Retiring early significantly shortens the accumulation phase and dramatically lengthens the decumulation phase, putting immense pressure on savings. Underestimating longevity, the biggest gamble. Medical advancements and healthier lifestyles mean people are living longer than ever before. Retiring at 55 or 60 might mean needing to fund 35, 40, or even more years of living expenses. Many retirement plans are based on outdated longevity assumptions. Running out of money in your 80s or 90s, when earning potential is virtually nil and health needs are often greatest, is a terrifying prospect. Early retirees haven't just stopped earning sooner, they've drastically increased the duration their nest egg needs to last. A plan that looks sufficient for 25 years might be woefully inadequate for 35 or 40. Inflation's relentless erosion, the silent killer. A dollar today will not buy what a dollar buys tomorrow, let alone 30 years from now. Even seemingly low inflation rates compound significantly over decades. An early retiree needs a plan that explicitly accounts for the rising cost of everything: housing, food, utilities, transportation, and especially healthcare. What seems like a comfortable income stream at age 60 can feel painfully tight by age 80 if inflation isn't properly factored into withdrawal strategies and investment allocations. A 3% average inflation rate can have the purchasing power of money in approximately 24 years. Retiring early means exposing your fixed income or savings to this erosion for a much longer period. Healthcare costs, the elephant in the room. Especially pre-Medicare, this is a massive financial landmine for early retirees in the U.S. Retiring before age 65 means losing access to potentially subsidized employer-sponsored health insurance. The options: COBRA, expensive and temporary; the Affordable Care Act, ACA, Marketplace, premiums and deductibles can be substantial, depending on income, or private insurance, are often shockingly expensive. A single major health event, even with insurance, can lead to crippling out-of-pocket costs. Furthermore, even after Medicare eligibility at 65, there are significant costs: Part B premiums, Part D, prescription drugs, premiums, supplemental plans, Medigap, and costs not covered by Medicare at all, like dental, vision, hearing aids, and crucially, long-term care. Underestimating healthcare expenses over a multi-decade retirement is one of the fastest ways to derail a financial plan, and retiring early exacerbates this risk by potentially adding years of high pre-Medicare insurance costs. Sequence of returns risk: retiring into a storm. This is a critical concept often overlooked. It's not just the average investment return that matters, but the order in which those returns occur. Retiring early and immediately facing a significant market downturn, a bad sequence, can be devastating. If you start withdrawing money from a portfolio whose value has just plummeted, you lock in losses and dramatically deplete your principal, making it much harder for the portfolio to recover and sustain you long term. Someone retiring into a bull market might be fine with a certain withdrawal rate, while someone retiring with the exact same amount into a bear market could run out of money years earlier. Retiring early increases the chance of encountering such adverse sequences early in the drawdown phase when the portfolio is largest and most vulnerable. Overly optimistic withdrawal rates. The fragile 4% rule. The 4% rule. Withdrawing 4% of your portfolio in the first year of retirement, then adjusting for inflation annually, has been a common benchmark. However, its validity is increasingly questioned, especially for early retirees facing potentially longer time horizons and in today's environment of potentially lower future market returns and higher inflation. Relying rigidly on this rule, especially without considering sequence risk, longevity, and healthcare costs, can be perilous. Many financial planners now advise more conservative withdrawal rates, e.g., 3% or 3.5%, or dynamic strategies that adjust withdrawals based on market performance. An early retiree banking on a 4% plus withdrawal rate is taking a significant gamble. Hidden costs and unexpected expenses. Life happens. Homes need major repairs, new roof, HVAC failure, cars need replacing, adult children might need financial help, aging parents may require support or care, divorces occur, natural disasters strike. Retirement budgets often focus on predictable daily expenses but fail to adequately account for these large, irregular, and often unavoidable costs. Retiring early reduces the buffer years of earning income that could absorb these shocks, forcing retirees to dip deeper into capital than planned. Impact on Social Security and pensions. Retiring early often means claiming Social Security benefits before reaching full retirement age, FRA, or even as early as age 62. While tempting, claiming early permanently reduces the monthly benefit amount, potentially by as much as 30% compared to waiting until FRA, and even more compared to delaying until age 70. Over a long retirement, this difference can amount to tens or even hundreds of thousands of dollars in lost lifetime income. Similarly, pensions, if available, often have payout amounts heavily tied to years of service and final salary. Retiring early can significantly reduce the ultimate pension benefit. This loss of guaranteed, inflation-adjusted income, in the case of Social Security, is a major financial headwind for early retirees. Financial regret is corrosive. It doesn't just limit travel or hobbies. It can create constant anxiety, force painful lifestyle cutbacks, strain relationships, and ultimately lead to a retirement plagued by worry instead of peace. The cushion that seemed comfortable at age 58 might feel terrifyingly thin by age 78. 3. The health hurdle, more than just finances. While the financial cost of healthcare is a major concern, the health implications of early retirement extend beyond dollars and cents. The pre-Medicare insurance gap. As mentioned, navigating the health insurance landscape before age 65 is complex and costly. Beyond the premiums, high deductibles and out-of-pocket maximums can mean that even seemingly routine health issues become significant financial burdens. The stress of finding and affording adequate coverage can itself negatively impact well-being. Some early retirees may even gamble by choosing less comprehensive plans or foregoing insurance altogether, a decision with potentially catastrophic consequences. Unexpected health crises, chronic illnesses, accidents, or sudden diagnoses can strike at any age. Retiring early doesn't grant immunity. A major health crisis can derail retirement plans not only financially but also by limiting the very activities and freedoms that motivated early retirement in the first place. Dreams of extensive travel or active hobbies can evaporate, replaced by doctor's appointments, treatments, and recovery. This can lead to disappointment and a sense of lost opportunity. I retired early to enjoy life, and now I can't. Loss of routine and potential health impacts. Work, even stressful work, provides structure, social interaction, and often, a reason to stay physically active, commuting, walking around the office. The abrupt shift to a completely unstructured retirement can, for some, lead to detrimental changes in habits. Less physical activity, disrupted sleep patterns, changes in diet, and increased sedentary behavior can contribute to weight gain, muscle loss, and the onset or worsening of chronic health conditions like diabetes, heart disease, and hypertension. Mental health considerations. the link between retirement and mental health is complex. While escaping a toxic work environment can be beneficial, the loss of purpose, identity, and social connection associated with early retirement can also trigger or exacerbate depression, anxiety, and feelings of worthlessness. This psychological toll can, in turn, have negative impacts on physical health. This is explored further in the next section. Health is wealth, especially in retirement. Retiring early only to face insurmountable healthcare costs or debilitating health conditions that prevent enjoyment of those extra years can feel like a cruel twist of fate, leading to deep regret about not having worked longer to build a larger financial and health buffer. 4. The identity crisis and social void. Who am I without my job? For decades, work often defines a significant part of our identity. It provides a title, a professional network, a sense of competence, daily challenges, and a clear purpose. Stripping that away abruptly, especially earlier than expected, can leave a surprising and unsettling void. Loss of professional identity and status. Many people derive a strong sense of self-worth and identity from their careers. Being a doctor, teacher, engineer, or manager provides social standing and a clear answer to the question, what do you do? In retirement, especially early retirement, that familiar identity vanishes. This can lead to feelings of irrelevance, a loss of status, and difficulty defining oneself in social situations. The transition from being a respected professional to just retired can be jarring and difficult to navigate, leading to an existential unease. The structure vacuum. Working life imposes a routine: waking up, commuting, meetings, deadlines, lunch breaks. While often complained about, this structure provides a framework for the day and week. Early retirement removes this scaffolding entirely. Suddenly faced with vast stretches of unstructured time, some individuals struggle. The initial, honeymoon phase of relaxation can give way to boredom, listlessness, and a lack of direction. Without the built-in purpose and schedule of work, days can feel empty and meaningless, leading to frustration and regret. Social isolation and shrinking networks. The workplace is a primary source of social interaction for many adults. Colleagues become friends, providing camaraderie, support, and daily conversation. Retiring early often means leaving this built-in social network behind while many peers are still working. Making new friends can be challenging, especially if one's identity was heavily tied to their profession. Spouses or partners may still be working, leading to solitary days. This social isolation can be profoundly detrimental to mental and emotional well-being, contributing to loneliness and depression, major risk factors for poor health outcomes in older adults. Boredom and lack of purpose. The dream of endless leisure can quickly turn into the reality of chronic boredom if not replaced with meaningful activities. Playing golf or traveling can fill time initially, but they may not provide the same deep sense of purpose or accomplishment that work did. Without challenges to overcome, problems to solve, or contributions to make, early retirees can find themselves feeling adrift and unfulfilled. They may regret leaving a job that, despite its flaws, provided stimulation and a sense of making a difference. The question, "What do I do all day?" can become a source of significant anxiety. Marital strain and shifting dynamics. Retirement significantly alters relationship dynamics, especially if only one partner retires early or if both retire simultaneously without discussing expectations. Spending 24/7 together after decades of separate work lives can create friction. Disagreements can arise over how to spend time, manage household chores, finances, or social activities. Differing retirement dreams, one wants to travel, the other wants to stay home, can become major sources of conflict. The spouse who continues working might resent the retiree's freedom, while the retiree might feel lonely or misunderstood. Early retirement, entered into without careful discussion and alignment with one's partner, can strain even strong marriages. The psychological and social adjustments to retirement are significant at any age, but they can be particularly acute for early retirees who may have underestimated the non-financial role work played in their lives. Regret can stem from realizing too late that the job provided more than just a paycheck. It provided identity, structure, social connection, and purpose. The difficulty of going back, closing the door too soon. Perhaps the most painful aspect of regretting early retirement is the realization that reversing the decision is often incredibly difficult, if not impossible. Unlike a bad vacation or a poor investment choice, early retirement is a major life transition that can be hard to undo. Ageism in the workforce. Despite laws against it, age discrimination remains a persistent reality in the job market. An early retiree seeking to re-enter the workforce after several years out may find it challenging to get interviews, let alone job offers, especially for positions comparable to the one they left. Employers may perceive them as less adaptable, less tech-savvy, overly expensive, or simply lacking the hunger of younger candidates. This bias can be demoralizing and trap the retiree in unwanted retirement. Skills obsolescence. Industries and technologies evolve rapidly. Skills that were valuable just a few years ago may become outdated. An early retiree attempting to return to their previous field might find they need significant retraining or upskilling to be competitive, which requires time, effort, and often, money they may not have. Their professional network may also have weakened during their time away. Lower earning potential and less fulfilling work, even if re-entry is possible. Early retirees often find they have to accept positions with lower pay, fewer benefits, and less responsibility than they previously held. They might end up in bridge jobs that are less demanding but also less fulfilling, taken out of financial necessity rather than genuine interest. This can feel like a step backward and reinforce feelings of regret. The psychological toll of reversal. Admitting that early retirement was a mistake and seeking to return to work can be psychologically difficult. It can feel like a personal failure, leading to embarrassment or a loss of pride. Explaining the situation to potential employers or former colleagues can be awkward. The very act of trying to undo the decision underscores the magnitude of the initial misstep. Impact on re-established retirement lifestyle. If the retiree did manage to build a new post-work routine, perhaps involving volunteering, hobbies, or family commitments, returning to full-time or even part-time work disrupts this new equilibrium, potentially creating new stresses or requiring difficult trade-offs. The finality of the retirement decision is often underestimated. While flexibility is key in retirement planning, the option to simply go back to work, as if nothing happened, is rarely straightforward. This lack of an easy escape route makes the potential for regret all the more significant. Burning the bridge to one's career prematurely can leave an individual stranded on the shores of an unsatisfactory retirement. 6. Redefining retirement, alternatives and strategies for avoiding regret. Understanding the potential pitfalls of retiring too soon doesn't mean abandoning the dream of a fulfilling later life free from the traditional 9-to-5. It means approaching the transition with greater awareness, realism, and planning. It also involves considering alternatives that blend work and leisure. Phased retirement or semi-retirement. Instead of a hard stop, consider gradually reducing work hours or responsibilities. This allows for a smoother transition, maintains some income stream and benefits, potentially including health insurance, keeps skills current, and retains social connections and structure. Many employers are becoming more open to flexible arrangements for experienced workers. Encore careers, or bridge jobs, explore work that aligns with passions or values, even if it pays less. This could involve consulting in your field, teaching, working for a nonprofit, starting a small business based on a hobby, or pursuing passion projects that generate some income. The focus shifts from maximum earning to finding meaningful engagement combined with greater flexibility. Rigorous and holistic planning. Financial stress testing. Don't rely on best-case scenarios. Work with a qualified, fee-only financial advisor to stress test your plan against market downturns, sequence risk, higher than expected inflation, unexpected large expenses, and longer than average lifespans. Be brutally realistic about your budget and potential healthcare costs. Calculate Social Security benefits at different claiming ages. Aim for conservative withdrawal rates. Healthcare planning. Thoroughly research pre-Medicare insurance options and costs. Understand Medicare Parts A, B, D, and supplemental plan options and budget accordingly. Factor in potential long-term care costs. Investigate long-term care insurance or alternative funding strategies. Lifestyle planning. This is as crucial as financial planning. What will you actually do in retirement? How will you structure your days? How will you maintain social connections? Actively plan for hobbies, volunteering, learning, travel, and social engagement. Don't just assume it will happen. Practice retirement with longer vacations or sabbaticals if possible. Cultivate non-work identity and networks before retiring. Don't wait until you retire to develop hobbies, interests, and social circles outside of work. Join clubs, volunteer, take classes, nurture friendships unrelated to your job. Build aspects of your identity that are independent of your professional title. This makes the transition less jarring and provides an existing foundation for a fulfilling retirement. Open communication with partner and family. Retirement affects the whole family. Have honest, detailed conversations with your spouse or partner about your individual and shared expectations for retirement, finances, lifestyle, travel, time together versus apart, household roles. Ensure you are aligned or have mutually agreeable compromises. Discuss potential needs regarding aging parents or adult children. Embrace flexibility and adaptability. Retirement isn't a static state. Be prepared to adjust your plans, financial, lifestyle, or even work, as circumstances change. Market conditions fluctuate, health changes, family needs evolve. A rigid plan is more likely to break. Build contingency funds and maintain a mindset open to adaptation, perhaps even returning to part-time work if needed or desired. Consider working longer, but differently. Perhaps the goal shouldn't be to stop working altogether as soon as possible, but to find ways to work longer in a more sustainable, enjoyable manner. Negotiating reduced hours, shifting to a less stressful role, consulting, or starting a passion-based business could provide continued income, engagement, and benefits while offering more freedom than a traditional full-time career. This glide path can be a much safer and more satisfying route than an abrupt early exit. 7. Conclusion: making an informed choice, not a hasty one. The allure of early retirement is undeniable, representing a deeply held desire for freedom, autonomy, and escape from the pressures of working life. Yet, as we've explored, the reality can diverge sharply from the dream. Retiring too soon, without a comprehensive understanding and meticulous plan for the financial, health, social, and psychological dimensions of this major life transition, carries the significant risk of profound and lasting regret. Running out of money decades into retirement due to underestimated longevity or inflation, facing crippling healthcare costs without employer support, battling social isolation and a loss of purpose, or discovering that re-entering the workforce is far harder than anticipated, these are not mere inconveniences. They are life-altering challenges that can overshadow what should be a rewarding phase of life. The decision to retire is one of the most critical financial and lifestyle choices an individual will ever make. It demands more than just reaching a target savings number or feeling burned out by a current job. It requires a deep, honest self-assessment. Are my financial projections realistic and stress-tested for the long term? Have I fully accounted for the escalating costs of healthcare, especially before Medicare and potential long-term care needs? How will I replace the structure, social interaction, and sense of identity that my job provides? Have my partner and I thoroughly discussed and aligned our expectations for retirement life? Do I have meaningful pursuits and connections outside of work to step into? Am I running towards a well-planned retirement, or simply running away from my current job? Early retirement can be achieved successfully and happily. Many people do it. But typically, success requires exceptional financial discipline, fortunate timing, robust health, strong social networks, a clear sense of post-work purpose, and often, a significant financial cushion beyond the bare minimum. For most people, a more prudent approach involves careful planning, potentially considering a phased transition or encore career, and perhaps delaying the full stop from work until the financial, health, and lifestyle pieces are more securely in place. Working a few extra years, even part-time or in a different capacity, can make an enormous difference in bolstering savings, maximizing Social Security benefits, bridging the healthcare gap, and allowing more time to solidify post-career plans and identity. Don't let the dream of early retirement blind you to the potential nightmare of retiring too early. Take the time, do the homework, consult with professionals, financial, healthcare, perhaps even career or life coaches, talk openly with loved ones, and be honest with yourself. The goal isn't just to retire, it's to retire well, ensuring that your later years are truly golden, filled with security, purpose, connection, and contentment, not shadowed by the irreversible regret of a decision made too soon. Your future self will thank you for your patience and diligence today.